Hi everyone, it's your favourite Atomic Blonde here. She's back. Yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, I'm back, and it's still quite warm in the UK, but it's pretty dull and grey. So yeah, I still wish I was on that very white sandy beach and palm trees. But hey, it is what it is, and as I'm back, that means I can chat to you. So nothing really prepared. Shocker, I know. But just thought I'd just jump on, have a quick chat with you all, because it is Atomic Pop Chat after all. And just what's been going on, the the absolute craziness of the Acolyte is just insane. I mean, no one was shocked that this was cancelled. No one was watching it. And it just never ceases to amaze me, the kind of hypocrisy that just comes across, talking about vitriol. I mean, you've literally got people targeting people's channels for saying they don't like something. It's just absolutely insane. The figures speak for themselves. Now, granted, yes, Disney don't really release the numbers, but if they were good, they'd be telling us. And obviously from Nielsen, etc., that the numbers could be extrapolated. Any other show that's not getting ratings gets cancelled. That's how it's always worked. Now, for some reason in the streaming world, that doesn't. People seem to think that doesn't apply. That hey, we can spend 180 million, and it doesn't matter if only 100,000 people watch it. It's like, what? Absolutely bonkers. Stuff going on right now. Again, colour me shocked. Rings of Power season 2 bombing hard. I think I saw something the other day. It's lost 50% of its viewers from the last season. We knew it was going to be bad. I mean, I didn't even review season 1. It's as I've said on this channel, Lord of the Rings really isn't my thing. I've watched it once and that was enough for me. And I know people hate me for that, sorry, but sort of fantasy is just really not really my thing. I give it a go. I mean, I can absolutely sit there and say, hey, look, I can see it's well made. Peter Jackson's films are, cinematography, acting, all of that, but it just doesn't float my boat. So, so I just enjoy watching other people's reviews of it, which are just absolutely hilarious. And the thing is, though, just watching clips from it, and the dialogue is so cringe and bad. You just think, why would I want to sit through a whole hour of this? It's just beyond, absolute beyond. I mean, I left the country to get away from it. But yeah, I mean, no one is shocked by this. I think it's only like, the most shocking thing is if it gets to season 3, really. Let's face it. I mean, it's the most expensive TV show ever made. No one's watching it. No one is watching it because it's so bad. And this crazy world we live in these days that, like I say, viewing figures don't seem to matter. Profit doesn't seem to matter. Even though we are starting to see some studios shift just a tiny amount, and sort of recognizing that preaching to people and telling them what to think and how to think isn't entertaining, strangely enough. But we've had the same old, it's because you're sexist, you're this, you're that, completely ignoring the fact that Fallout done really well. Alien Romulus is doing very well at the moment, whether you like that or you don't like it, but obviously that's very strong female lead. So they kind of just pick and choose the narrative when it suits, and with Alien Romulus, not only has it got a strong female lead, you've got a strong person of colour lead as well. The guy who's playing Andy in that is getting rave reviews. But yeah, these are the same people who then in the next breath are called sexist and racist and bigots, right? So in that sense, nothing's changed in the last 10 years. But we are seeing the dial shift ever so slightly. And I think as viewers, we just got to stick to our guns and just, we're not gonna spend our money and watch this rubbish. There's, as I've said on this channel many times, there's nothing wrong with making a film with a message in it. There's some great films over the years, whether that's anti-war or political or anything like that. I mean, gosh, 1984, the book, right? That's a whole book of messaging, and it's a fantastic book, and everybody should read it. And they should also read Animal Farm. All these people that says that socialism's a good thing and it's just not been done right, or communism's not been done right. Go read Animal Farm. That's exactly what happens every single time. Anyway, not a political channel. So yeah, it's just, sit back, get the popcorn, watch it all unravel. But what we are hoping for is that, every now and again we keep getting, a good film come out or a good show come out. So like I say, we just got to stick to our guns. Don't spend money on merch. Don't spend money going to see these things. But it's really important to support anything that's good. So yeah, that's all I can really say on that. Like, colour me surprised, not. I saw something yesterday. I haven't actually read the thing properly, but I think Lucasfilm are talking about doing one Star Wars show a year now or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter how many they make; they just need to be good. They could do 6 a year if they're all good. It's like, it's the fact that we keep just going bad after bad after bad, and everybody knows what the root problem is, but no one will do anything about it because she just has too much power. What can you do? That's how Hollywood works these days. Talking of good, I've talked about this show on this channel before. There's a review of season 3. Go about probably about September. A bit later in the year. I think it's November. I think Slow Horses normally comes out. So Slow Horses season 4, Apple TV. Gary Oldman, absolutely brilliant in it. Plays Jackson Lamb, the most disgusting man alive. He's a slob. He's rude. He's obnoxious. But back in the day, he was like, they hint at things that he was like almost, a top spy in MI5. For various reasons, he ended up sort of being sidelined and put in this place called Slough House, where all the sort of reject spies go. But he was obviously a very good spy back in the day, and actually he's still sharp as a tack. He's a raging alcoholic. He doesn't look after himself. He's overweight. Like I say, he's an absolute slob. He's disgusting, but he's hilarious. He's these one-liners and these quips and the put-downs that he has are absolutely brilliant. These are so well written and acted. Like I say, season 4's just started. The first episode dropped this week on the 4th. To an absolute banger of an opening episode. One of the team's been killed, or we're led to believe one of the team's been killed. And what we've seen is that one of the lead characters, Cartwright, his grandfather, who basically raised him, is suffering from some form of dementia. Now, again, he was a top person, in spy circles. So, obviously, when someone who has a lot of secrets in their past starts suffering from dementia, they become a bit of a security risk. So there's a whole storyline, and it started happening in season 3. We start seeing him sort of forget. He goes to the gentleman's club that he hasn't been a member at for like 5 years or something, and he doesn't remember cancelling the membership. And like a lot of things like dementia, obviously it starts quite slow and then can deteriorate quite quickly. So you've got this really sort of quite sad storyline. River Cartwright goes to visit his grandfather, and his grandfather mistakes him as an intruder because he's becoming increasingly paranoid because of his spy background. He's like getting very confused, thinking people are after him, and he shoots and kills Cartwright. Well, that's what we're led to believe. So go watch the first episode if you haven't watched Slow Horses. Get yourself a free trial of Apple. All 3 seasons so far have been absolutely solid. They're funny, they're well written, they're well acted, and it's just for Gary Oldman, if nothing else. But the guy who plays River is really good as well. And I can't believe he's actually Scottish, because he's English in this, and his accent is on point. And actually, we've seen him interviewed, he's like Scottish, so it's like, wow, okay. But I cannot recommend this show enough. It's absolutely brilliant. If you love these sort of spy dramas with a little bit sort of very black humour, this is right up your street. Definitely go check it out. I know it's a lot of people go, oh, I can't be bothered to get Apple, but do get a free trial if you can. It's worth every penny just to watch Slow Horses alone. Then you've got access to Ted Lasso, which I also love and recommended on this channel. There's also Severance. We should be getting season 2, I think, in January, which I am so excited for. There's not a massive amount of content, I'll be very honest, there's not. But generally what's on there is pretty good. There's the old, sort of, there is some woke stuff on there, I guess, but generally they just sort of do actually make content for everybody. It's quite varied, and there's quite a lot of strong sci-fi content if you like sci-fi. Like Dark Matters, like I say, I wasn't a massive fan of the book that everybody raves about, but the show itself is very solid, very well made, good adaptation, so worth checking out. What else? I've started watching Terminator Zero, the sort of anime version. A few episodes in. So far so good. It's fine. It's not blowing my socks off that I'm binge watching it, but it seems fairly solid. Again, like obviously the character in this one is again a girl is actually sent back, well, sort of playing the Reese type character to go back and save them. It's anime, so she's a little bit over the top, I guess, but I would never put her in girl boss woke box, because it's anime and it's a very different genre. So, but so far so good, quite solid. So I'll keep you posted on that one and whether it's worth watching the whole series. And then I recently, it's a really old K-drama, well, K-show, is one I started watching a while ago, and it got taken off Netflix, and now it's back on. It's called Signal. It's actually 2016, and it's very loosely based on the film Frequency, which I absolutely love, with Dennis Quaid. The premise is, so in Frequency, you basically got a cop finds it like an old CB transistor radio thing, and there's kind of like a Northern Lights thing happening, and somehow this connects into the same CB radio, but in the past with his dad. And his dad was a firefighter, who was killed on a job. And he's able to and they start talking to each other, and he tells his dad that, to watch out on this job, and he manages to save his dad. And then obviously the future changes, and that's the sort of premise of the film. And they change things, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. There's like a knock-on effect, a domino effect. If you change one thing, obviously, like the butterfly effect. So the premise is the same in this one, but obviously it's Korean. And you've got a young detective. He's a profiler. Basically stumbles across this old police radio. And exactly 11:23, because this thing's dead, it's knackered, it's basically being thrown out. He finds it in like some evidence disposal thing, and there's a message coming through to him from we find out another policeman in the past, sort of in the 90s. And initially he doesn't realize that obviously this is in the past, but over time, like these messages keep going backwards and forwards, and they're able to save some cold cases. But then again, like the knock-on effect, some of it's positive, some of it's negative. As per a Korean drama, it's over 16 episodes. It is left on a cliffhanger, and they keep talking about making a second season to this. Now, obviously, it's 2016, so 8 years ago, but the rumors are still rumbling around. Even though it is a cliffhanger, I absolutely recommend this, even for the cliffhanger. Again, very well made, very well produced, as you expect from any Korean show. And like I say, it's where the back and forth, sometimes it changes things for the better, sometimes it changes things for the worst. So you don't always get the outcomes that you would expect, certainly from a Western show. You'd be like, everything's going to be great now. Absolutely not, because it's Korean. Really enjoyed this. binged it over like a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. So glad, because it's one I wanted to watch. I started watching the first couple of episodes when it got removed last time, and I was gutted that I missed it. So I just literally saw it was back on the other day, and yeah, absolutely sat through that, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And there's one I downloaded when I was actually in Malaysia. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix in the UK yet. I'm really hoping it does come on, and if it does come on, it's called Lovely Runner, and it's another classic sort of K-drama, rom-com, time travel, backwards and forwards. Absolutely loved it. I'll go into that in more detail if it does come on to Netflix UK, and I will give you a proper review. But just keep an eye out if Lovely Runner comes on. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously on the plane, I got to catch up with a couple of films that I didn't really get to see. One I really enjoyed, actually, perfect for the plane, like switch your brain off, leave it at the door, was Boy Kills World, which was Bill Skarsgård. I think it didn't do massively well, I don't think. It kind of came out and went again. So the premise is that Bill Skarsgård's character, when he's a kid, there's an incident, and he's deafened, and he has his tongue cut out. This is a very violent film. I'll just put that out there right now. Very violent film. So he can't speak. So he's deaf and mute now. And you see he's found by so again, this sort of set in a fictionalized world that's sort of Asian, sort of Western. It's not obviously not a real place kind of thing, but he's found by this sort of shaman in the jungle, who then trains him to basically be this fighting machine. And he's brought up to believe that the dictator, this sort of leader of this fictional place, is the one that done this to him. And because he's like deaf and mute, he can't remember what his own voice sounds like. So all he can remember is that he used to play this video game with his sister, a bit sort of like Tekken or Mortal Kombat. So he has this kind of sort of Mortal Kombat Street Fighter voice that he's like in a monologue, which is quite funny as it goes through. And it's all about him trying to get revenge for. So basically, his mother and sister were murdered in front of him, and they say he was mutilated. And it's about him, like, it's almost like a bit of a blood sport montage kind of thing from when he's a kid, and he's like being taught to fight, you know, and they've got to like punch the bamboo and all their knuckles are bleeding and break their legs and, you know, fighting, get toughened up, all that kind of thing, from a young kid up to an adult. And it's about him getting revenge for what happened to his family. Then as the story unravels, there's a couple of twists in there. One is really obvious, one is not. Well, I didn't think it was, but then I was quite sleepy on the plane. Maybe if I watched it again, it'd be more obvious. But anyway, I did enjoy it. It's incredibly violent. It's kind of in the genre, I'd say, of kind of like Guy Ritchie type films. It's very violent, quite funny, what sort of dark humor. Not too long, which is great. I think it's just over an hour and a half, maybe. But I actually enjoyed it. You know, it was like, yeah, good fun. Right, sort of right on my street in terms of the sort of Guy Ritchie style-esque. And it's sort of a bit cartoon-esque violence as well. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's like something quite different. I hadn't really seen anything like that in you know, before in quite a long time. So yeah, watch out for that twist. Quite interesting. Recommend. Let me know what you think. Have you watched Boy Kills World? If not, go check it out. I think you can rent it on Prime at the moment. But if it's on the plane, I'm sure it'll be dropping on Netflix and various things soon. Yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So catching up on shows, looking forward to some new shows coming out. Obviously we've got Beetlejuice that came out yesterday. So I'm hoping to catch that over the weekend. So look out for a review of that. Remember going to see Beetlejuice, the original one, back in the cinema, back in the day. I'm not sure I was old enough to see it. I might have been old enough to see it. Yeah, I think it was a 12 or 12A or something. I think 12 might have been created in the UK for Beetlejuice. I can't remember. It was either Batman or Beetlejuice, one or the other. So yeah, I definitely went to go see it in the cinema back in the day. So it'd be interesting to see where this one goes, if it stands up. I haven't seen any reviews for it yet, so I don't have a clue what the temperature check is on whether this is any good. We'll see. You know, it's difficult to do a sequel 30, 40 odd years later, whatever it is. Yeah, was it 87? Gosh, I think. So yeah, getting on for 40 years. or 30 years, I should say. Yeah, so wait and see on that one. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that Sunday. Worst case might be Monday, as I've got quite a few things on Saturday. But anyway, enough of my social life. Yes, that's kind of it. Just wanted to check in, let you know what I've been watching, catching up on the crazy bonkersness of anything that comes out of Disney and Amazon right now. Yeah, so I guess take care. And I'll come back with something a little bit more organized, hopefully, shortly, with that Beetlejuice review, and hopefully get into a bit more regular pop chats and some Sunday lunches. Probably not this Sunday, starting next Sunday. Depends if I get a chance to see Beetlejuice on Sunday, then I will do a Sunday lunch. If not, it will be starting next Sunday again. I'm around for a few weeks, then I'm away again, sorry. And then October should be back into it, regular routine, which is always a good time because October, obviously, the shows all tend to start coming back in the winter months. And yeah, hopefully there'll be some good watches in there and some good films, fingers crossed. Who knows? It's pretty bleak landscape right now, but we'll wait and see. So anyway, take care. It's lovely to be back. As always, please like, share and subscribe, and let me know what you're thinking. What are you watching? What do you recommend I watch? What have you loved? What have you hated? Do leave a comment and I will come back to you. So you will take care. Short and sweet this week. See you soon. Bye.